It's week 10, day 64 of my full-time chronic pain rehabilitation journey. My name's Jason, and today I'm going to share with you the secret to a successful rehabilitation plan. But first, a quick status update. I woke up feeling dead, and I was dead during my workout. I think this has something to do with some sleep deprivation I've been having over the last couple of weeks. I'm taking some steps to try to remedy that. I think it might have something to do with what I'm allergic to that I'm consuming in my protein shakes. We'll find out. The experiment is underway. I also found something that helped me come back from feeling dead, and it's a recovery product called Nano Hydra 8. I will include a link to it in the description of this video. And I tried something new today in the cold tub at the recovery center. I started doing breathing techniques, and I've only done them once, and so I don't want to really give you a sense of how much I like them or don't, but I did notice that my thoughts didn't wander as much doing a breathing technique as they tend to when I'm meditating. So it may be more effective for me than meditation. We'll just have to find out. Now for the tip. What's the most important supportive routine of all? I'll tell you, it's playing with my daughter. Sometimes I get so busy doing all of my routines that I forget to do the simple ones like play with my kids. And it relaxed me, it helped me feel connected to her. We were just basically making some fake plastic food in her fake microwave and doing a pretend sleepover on the pillow on the floor in her room. And it was just charming and lifted my spirits quite a bit. So don't forget to do the simple things that have nothing to do with your rehab, like playing with your children. On to the topic of the day. The key ingredient in a successful rehabilitation plan is change. Your plan has to change as you go along. Whatever you start with is just a template, it's an overview. It cannot stay the same, and if it is, it means you're not incorporating what you're learning throughout your journey into your plan, and chances are it's going to fail. No plan survives contact with reality. I learned this as a software developer. The old model of developing software was everybody planned everything up front, then they went and executed for 6 months, and most of those projects either went way over budget, way over time, or they failed completely. Why? Because there wasn't enough information up front to plan out the project. You had to kind of learn as you go and incorporate what you learn back into the product. Well, if you take that same principle and apply it to your rehabilitation plan, you have a much more likelihood of succeeding. And so I wanted to share that tip with you. The changes you'll need to make to your plan, I call them adaptations, basically fall into 3 categories. They're negative, they're neutral, or they're positive. Of course, it's all relative to how you view them, but you'll perceive them that way in your mind. I want to give you a couple of examples of each of these from my own journey and why I perceive them the way I do. Okay, the first is a negative one. I train myself to eat cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower in abundance. And I did this because they're nutrient dense, but they're not calorie dense. So for example, if I created a rice bowl, 1/3 of the bowl was rice and the rest was veg. Well, my stomach didn't like that. And I was confused at first as to what was causing the problem. I thought maybe it was black pepper, so I started eliminating things, and eventually I got down to the vegetable itself. And this really annoyed me because it took me so long to actually like the vegetables, and here my stomach is saying, nope, sorry, you can't eat those. So I perceive that as kind of a negative thing. But I had to change. It's not what I wanted, but it's what reality threw back in my face. Here's another negative one. I wanted to swim every day of my life, kind of like Mr. Rogers did. And that was always my plan. But reality had other ideas. And I've noticed that my skin, I have some areas with some psoriasis on them, does not like swimming. And I'm swimming so much that they're getting worse. It doesn't matter how much lotion I'm slathering on those areas, they're not getting better. They're not recovering, which means I have to cut down on my swimming. I perceive this as negative, maybe neutral, but mostly negative because it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to swim every day, and now I have to do something else. So I've decided to use the elliptical. Basically 3 days a week and swim 3 days a week. I'm hoping that by cutting down my swimming by half, the psoriasis will recover and I'll be able to at least keep swimming. If I had to give up swimming altogether, I think I would cry. But that may be what reality has in store. We'll have to see. Now for a neutral one. I'd always planned to have some kind of a backup cardio routine, and I thought it was going to be the bike. And unfortunately, biking for most people is okay, but it aggravates my knees, and so I had to move to something else. The elliptical, I consider this a neutral change because it's just, exchanging one machine for another, and it's possibly even positive, because I like the elliptical more now that I've come up to speed on it. So that's another one. And then there's a positive change. When I started my workout or my rehabilitation journey, I thought maybe I'd be able to work out 5 days a week, possibly less. I thought 5 was ambitious. And as I've gone along, I've been able to up that to 6 days a week. So not all the changes are going to be negative ones or even neutral. They might even be positive. I've been able to do more than I thought I could and sustain it for longer than I ever thought I could. So that's an example of a positive change. But the basic point is, reality will tell you. Your body will tell you. Your experience will tell you things about what works for you and what doesn't. And you can fight it, and maybe you'll have to have a night of kicking and screaming or pouting and moping. But eventually you just have to give in, face that reality, and adapt your plan in whatever way you can to keep going and rehabilitate as much of you as possible. Fighting for your life means continuously adapting. If your plan isn't changing, you probably aren't either, and your plan is likely to fail. If you find my goatee sexy, or if you find my videos helpful, the more likely scenario I suspect, please share them. And don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep fighting for your life.